Hey there guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of doing what I do best. Creating accounts and hopefully providing some kind of enjoyment to all of you along the way. Now with that said, where we left off last episode was quite a pivotal point in the series. We've managed to cash out on all possible early prayer XP through quests and events. Yet we do have one remaining obstacle to tackle in regards to prayer, that being the Zealot robes being one of the key collection log slot items I wanted from the beginning. Once again, a Zealot piece drops at a rate of 1 in 128, so actually achieving the full set can be pretty difficult to say the least. I do believe someone did the calculations a while ago, and with the XP gain between 41 and 52 prayer gives you an estimated rate of 1 in 4 accounts to achieve the full set. Obviously, if we don't get the set, it wouldn't really be a reason to restart, more or less it would just be simply cool to have the full set while fully quested. Also, instead of stacking a bunch of keys, it's smarter to simply scatter the remains for the keys, then take them to the chest to minimize the XP loss in the case that we do get the full set before 52. Coming up first, we have the boots, which isn't the greatest piece that we could ask for, but it is a piece nonetheless. We actually got extremely lucky on this one too, being the very first run of the session. Though not only did we get the boots and a crazy amount of collection log pop-ups, we also managed to receive the hat in the very same inventory. It's pretty ironic showcasing this in the first place, seeing it may seem way more common than it should be. Nevertheless, it really is just some extremely dumb luck. Now each inventory will have some variation, as you can receive coins from the pyre instead of a key. This is just another factor pertaining to the more prayer XP gained with less chance of the drops. Fortunately for us, we're already off to an amazing start with 2 of the 4 pieces already obtained. And though we're optimistic, there's a very lengthy grind ahead of us. On just the 5th inventory, we managed to pull the row bottoms, and quite honestly, if this was the top, I would have considered just stopping here and remaining 43 prayer. I don't even think I'd benefit from the bottoms very much, but just the feat of having even the top and the hat at 43 would have been enough for me. Following the bottoms, we went through inventory after inventory, and prayer level after prayer level. Rightfully so, it seemed like our luck might have just finally run out. The Urium shades had quite literally burnt themselves out, until our 10th inventory. At just 48 prayer, we had achieved the full set of Zealot robes. And that's just another one of my bigger goals for the account, ticked right off the list. Before going for the set of Zealot, I had told myself that certain mini-quests such as his faithful servant would be off the table, seeing all the XP would go into the pyres. However, after finishing this set, we can even go for that, granting us a massive 20k prayer XP drop from the completion of one simple Barrows run. And this will also knock out a quick combat achievement along the way. The strange icon can then be handed into the strange old man for a lamp, granting 20k prayer XP, which again is completely unnecessary, but there's literally only kudos left following this. We also would need 50 prayer for the Great Brain Robbery, so this is completely off the table for now. After completing his faithful servant, we needed to touch up on the last few quests, as for whatever reason, I always try to complete every quest possible while building any account. I just have this fixation on future-proofing my builds in the case that something changes in the future, like how Corrupt Vesta longswords should be added into the game. Please. We then polished off some of the requirements for Kingdom Divided with the financial help from the brother that I showcased in the previous video. You see, I just so happen to be the world's poorest RuneScape player because I keep on investing into building the most ridiculous accounts every other week. And I don't know about you, but if you've seen the price of bonds, it's like we have the global financial crisis right here in our very game. Now with Tears of Guthix, I was extremely careful this time. Seen last time I did this quest, I was mid-conversation, literally zoned out and started claiming Tears on a pure. It's safe to say I never logged back into that account. Anyhow, moving on to the Slug Menace, where we can only melee and we can't pray. Though with the accuracy of 16 attack, this ended up being a piece of cake. Up next, we have the last few RFD subquests needed for Myth Gloves. We literally had no need for these in the early game, seeing I guess this entire account is considered early game, so we left this till last. Now, some of these quests, such like the Land of the Goblins, also do provide a decent amount of varied XP that certainly will help with some of the more grindy requirements in the future. It's also a bit more of an uncommon one. In fact, I think it's actually one of the first, or if not the first, time I've ever completed it. During the quest, we need to kill 4 demi-bosses and Strongbones, the final boss that attacks with all 3 styles alongside a couple of the other bosses as well. Meaning that if you're doing this with low HP like me, make sure to bank during the quest to get the maximum amount of food possible, seeing if you leave you have to restart. And clearly this was still down to the wire. In retrospect, I could have just done this after my chompy kills for more HP. Okay, so at this stage we need to work towards both 63 agility and 60 mage. We've also managed to get a bunch of alchemical junk from the golden chests, so we'll run some laps and train some magic at the same time. We're going to need 60 mage for both our god capes and to boost for the Wildy Hard Diary, while the agility will be put towards the completion of Beneath Cursed Sands and making friends with my arm. We did end up running out of literally anything to alch, so we just switched to Burnt Fish. Mind you, we did end up with a big chunk of change that we actually needed from 60 mage. Having prayer truly does make everything that much easier, and because I've never really played with overheads over the past 10 years, it's certainly a nice change of pace. I was then able to breeze through the major arena waves with no problem, achieving our God Cape. Now that we have our God Cape, I'd say it's the right time to knock out all of the spells, which we'll eventually use for the Mage Arena 2 Cape at 75 Mage. These simply require just 100 casts within the Mage Arena of the respective spell, and I consider it a decent use of our Mage XP at this stage of the account. Following this, there's literally nothing we need to use our Mage XP on, so it'll strictly be used on wildy bosses for the slim chance of a pet if we're lucky. Also, if you tuned into the previous episode, you'll know that we recently opened our new Obby clan, and you're most welcome to come join in on the fun and progress your account alongside us. Since the return of the community, the enthusiasm of both our recent and older members has exploded, with a bunch of the boys putting in some crazy effort into their accounts. So if you're interested in either making your own or starting back up on your Obby, join Obby Legion Clan Chat and Discord, which will be up on screen and linked in the description. Moving on to arguably one of the worst and most unnecessary quests known to man. This whole break into the mansion to catch rat segment of the quest is literally the absolute worst quest you could possibly do. Especially right after an update, seeing all the NPCs are synced together throughout the worlds. I actually got angry at this quest, like I had to leave because I did this right after the server update. So note to self and note to all of you, wait till the end of the week to do this one. Apart from that particular segment, the rest of the quest is actually pretty cool, and couldn't come at a better time as the release of Scurius the Rat King. I'd also like to mention that I'm still in the midst of working on the combat achievement over completion on the Prayless Obby, and have been diligently working on some of the harder tasks on there. So if you are interested in helping towards that video, whether it be theory crafting or helping with certain raids etc, send me a message on Discord or jump in the server and join the lads. Back to the video, we've also knocked out Children of the Sun, one of the new pre-quests for Valimor, which should give us one of the best in slot crossbows upon the release. This should also emulate the speed and hopefully the animation stall of the Hunter's crossbow, which should give us some more variety while PKing. Following the completion of all quests and diaries, we can now get stuck into Wildy Slayer, which this time we can actually utilize our excess range levels because we just have so many. Having 16 attack opens up another 10 range levels when maxed, meaning that we can freely cannon our Slayer up from 47 to 55. And by also utilizing Emerald Bolt's E, we can poison all NPCs for chip damage to further reduce the range XP gained, seeing we will get a few levels during this grind. Throughout the journey to 55 Slayer, I also had a few encounters out here in the wilderness, but fortunately managed to get away every single time, completing our grind in just a few measly hours. Cannoning Slayer from 47 to 55 was so quick, in fact I don't even have a clip of achieving 55 Slayer, which was made super easy through the addition of 16 attack. At this stage we've only got a few of the bigger quests left to complete, and we've been working towards these since the get-go. We gotta quickly smash out the thieving requirement for the Kingdom Divided, and to do so I'll showcase the fastest method down below. The lures you see will remain under the provision that you don't get too close to the guards, meaning that you can use this relatively AFK method, which gives you some of the fastest XP rates within the game. Artifact thieving can run at rates upwards of 200k XP an hour, and can be used to multi-skill if you see fit. I fortunately only had to do this for 30 odd minutes, till I could go and tackle one of my favourite quests, a Kingdom Divided. The Judge of Yama historically was one of the hardest bosses for an Obby, seeing you can only use melee, and if you don't have overheads you need to constantly reset for Warhammer specs. I've done this on a few accounts over the years and actually came across a safe tile right at the back of the pier by the portal where the flames can't hit you. If you are one attack, it's probably more advantageous to run back after your specs and wait it out with a light bearer until you lower Yama's defense sufficiently. This may take you upwards of 2 hours to finish off the fight, though fortunately for us, with the 16 attack and overheads, this ended up being a piece of cake. Xantha is a little different as it partially ignores prayer, as it simply reduces damage as opposed to negates it, though fortunately it does negate the grasp spells. Doing this without prayer will cause you to have the grasp spell land next to every time during the falling hand special attack, which you'll have to p-neck and rely on Ruby Bolt specs. In this particular instance we certainly do have it easy, though you may have to attempt this a few times without prayer if you miss a few Ruby Bolt specs early into the fight. I also do have this recorded without prayer for the Mauler V2 series, and once we do start smashing out some more CAs, I'll upload a separate video pertaining to that. With the Kingdom Divided now finished, we've completed one of the greats, all within less than 6 days. Not only that, but we'll also plan to go even further. We've certainly achieved a lot in today's video, so I really do hope that you'll do me a favour and drop us a subscription, along with a like and most importantly, a comment. All these 3 things will obviously help towards the channel immensely, so do me a solid and help keep me doing what I love to do. Other than that, don't forget to check out the clan chat and the Discord, which will be linked in the description below. You can also ring the bell icon if you'd like, so you don't miss out on what's coming next. If you know me, you know I always have something cheeky up my sleeve, so you don't want to miss the finale. Finally, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and as always, subscribe to the channel.